Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. Hope you guys are all enjoying the start to your weekend on this cloudy Saturday morning. And I've no doubt there's quite a few Geordies waking up this morning with a bit of a bittersweet, because we had some great news last night. 1:15 kickoff last night. I'm waking over knackered this morning, but it was worth it because Newcastle got their first win of the Premier League Summer Series. 2 draws and a win. And it's those same players who are really showing what they've got. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But also, as of 5-10 minutes ago, literally the moment I woke up, look at my phone, Saint-Maximin has confirmed his leaving of Newcastle United. He's released a statement. So we'll go through a little bit on that. We'll talk a little bit about Maxi. It's quite a long statement, so I won't be reading the full thing out, but there's some key points I want to mention. And then also, I want to finish talking about Eddie Howe as well, because he's obviously been asked about the fact that Maxi's leaving, about Newcastle players leaving the club, and he's spoken about a few things that I possibly didn't expect. So we'll get into that in a minute. First of all, though, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps the channel. Helps you guys not miss any future videos, and yeah, it's a big help to try and push the videos out that little bit further. But we'll start off with, the good news from last night. A 2-1 win for Newcastle versus Brighton out in the Premier League Summer Series. There's still a few games to go, but we are technically within a shout of winning the thing. So that's quite cool. I think generally speaking, first 2 games, draw. I thought we played really well. Last night, we played well, but I wouldn't actually say it was probably the best game we played, yet that was the one that we won. And the reason that we won was pretty much a big part down to Elliot Anderson. The man gets 2 goals on the night. I think that's 4 goals in 4 games for him now. Big up Elliot Anderson. Really, really happy for him. He's shown what he's got. I spoke about this a fair bit, from last season. He had his bit part to play, and could he have played more, and could he have maybe gone on loan to get more experience? Especially at times where we had injuries in the midfield, like Bruno, like Joe Linton, and it's like trying to really get him involved as much as possible. Was that his best position? Should he be playing further forward, where maybe he has more chances of being a little bit more creative? Not shoehorning him into, you have to kind of be that battling midfielder. Actually, maybe push him out to the left, push him into more of a 10, try him on the right, and it gives him a chance to just be that bit more creative. Some great goals. The one where he just completely clatters the centre-back to get the ball back and then smashes it in the net. And very, very happy for him. We could even go into the discussion of, bringing players in this season. There's lots of talk about left-back, centre-back, but there was a talk about centre-mid for quite a while. It was always Tonali and one more. That conversation has mysteriously gone a little bit quiet over the last few weeks, and I think it's because Elliot Anderson's shown that he can be someone who can feature in this team, in Champions League football, Premier League football. And it's not just him either, because Lewis Miley came on again last night, and I think there was to be fair, a handful of youngsters were all on the pitch when Newcastle turned that game around and won it. So it's not just them. It's Turner, Cook, it's Murphy, it's a few other guys who were in there on that pitch when Newcastle turned it around and got the win. But obviously Lewis Miley's the one who's showing everybody what he's got. And I mentioned this the other day. Eddie Howe has said he's a player he's very aware of and has been aware of how good he's been for a little while now. He's just being careful as to how much he chucks him in the deep end. But you talked about Elliot Anderson playing a bigger role. Premier League, Champions League. Is Lewis Miley someone who can maybe do what Anderson did last season and maybe not play all the time, but play some Premier League? Maybe even the chance at Champions League as well. And obviously, like Eddie Howe's literally just said a minute ago, not wanting to throw him in too soon. I'm not going to try not to get too carried away. When it's a young local lad playing good football, I think that's what you want to see. It really does lift people. I think that's why we're talking about it quite a lot, because people are quite excited. But anyway, really happy, great win. Wake up this morning, and Maxi has announced that he's leaving the club. I think we've known it's been coming for a while now. Fabrizio Romano was actually saying that he believes the medical was done as long ago as 8 days. It was actually thought that when Barnes was announced by us, that really that was when the Maxi deal got signed on the same day. Like Newcastle didn't want to, or potentially even couldn't, announce the Barnes until the Maxi was done as well. Obviously, when the contracts got signed on the same day, Newcastle announced Barnes. Fabrizio Romano said they didn't want to announce any other player before Mahrez, apparently. Obviously, he was the player that they really wanted to push out there. But now that he has been, they reckon Maxi could be announced in the next 24, 48 hours. And then as part of all of that, we're kind of just waiting, aren't we? But Maxi this morning on Twitter posted quite a long statement basically saying goodbye to the Newcastle fans. So you let me know your thoughts on this one down below. Obviously, it's one that we've talked about quite a bit. And I do want to come on to what Eddie Howe has said about Maxi leaving and what it means for us in the window buying other players or letting players go. But Maxi said, 4 years ago I wore the Newcastle jersey for the first time. At that moment I hadn't realised that not only was I about to become a Newcastle player, but that I was about to become a Geordie. You might think, nice goodbye message, but the sentiment runs deeper than any words I could say. From the very first months that I met the people of this city, I truly understood them and embraced their unwavering passion, which is why it was so important for me to give my all, and that it meant to play injured or even not making statistics. I didn't give a crap as long as it would help my team. It's that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs there, so I won't go through all of it. But I did want to mention this bit because I thought this was quite deep. But it says a deep thank you to all of you, my teammates, the loyal fans, the staff, the club, etc. I've seen all your messages, and this is a new chapter. This is a chapter coming to an end, but the story doesn't stop. Newcastle is home now. I'll continue to be your biggest supporter. I'll watch every game, and as long as the club keeps winning, I'll be the happiest man in the world, and I'm sure you will be too. I love you sincerely. I love you like a Geordie, once a Geordie, always a Geordie. So yeah, big up to Maxi. If you want to go down into Twitter, I'll try and put the link in the description if you want to go and see what Maxi said. Yeah, it is sad. It's a player that's been a favourite for many people, and it's not necessarily... I've said this before, for 30 million, I'd rather have managed to find... Well, bloody hell, Carl Darlow's reportedly leaving for 400 grand, you know? That's how hard it is to pull some money in for some of these players. I was going to say, let Darlow go, Hendrick go, Hayden go, Fraser go, Lewis has gone on loan. Like there's players there sitting in the back room having a cup of tea and a game on the Xbox, and we could have let them go for a combined 25 million and kept Maxi, but it's just not the way. It is possible, but it could take all window plus a January for that to happen, whereas Maxi was done in a week. But Eddie Howe spoke about this. Eddie Howe has said, obviously, that he's always said from the beginning that it wasn't really something that he wanted to happen, but for the sake of Newcastle and spending, it's something that needed to happen. One thing that he did say, which I didn't expect actually, and this could even relate back to the fact that we've loaned Lewis and not sold Lewis, was that he actually said that now Maxi's gone, there is no pressure on Newcastle selling players this window. You'd think that, yeah, Maxi's gone because that's a good chunk of money, let's try and add a little bit extra on. Well, I think because of the way it works in staggered payments, and because Maxi's gone for 30, so over 5 years of spending 30, you know, that's 100 plus million, then take Maxi's wages off by 5 years, and that's an extra 5-10 million or even more. You know, so Eddie Howe's actually confirming that the club have no pressure to sell more players, and that he does still want to bring in another few. So there you go. So if everyone's thinking, right, well, that was Maxi for Barnes, now we need to sell more to bring in, that's not the case because of the way it all works. Actually selling Maxi just paid off for Barnes, and there's still money to go on other players coming through, and that's it. You know, I think that's why maybe Lewis went on a loan and we didn't have to pressure trying to sell him now. Maybe Lewis can be part of the pot for next year. Sell Lewis next year, then Lewis can be ×5, and then all of a sudden you've got... So yeah, it's all very here, there, and everywhere. I think maybe still selling Lewis now would have been better than a loan. But anyway, Eddie Howe confirming that... But just because Maxi's gone doesn't mean we need to sell more players, and that we do definitely have money in the pot for more to come as well. So you guys, let me know your thoughts down below on the game last night. Maybe we don't need to buy more, because we've got Lewis, Miley, Anderson and all the youngsters coming through. Let me know your thoughts on Maxi heading out the door with his quite sad goodbye over on social media. And Eddie Howe confirming that we don't need to let players go, and that we could still have a few more through the door. And I hope so, because the time's ticking down. 2 weeks to go till the start of the season. Looking forward to it. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll catch you later.